I look back at my week and I got to spend quality time with my son every single day. I drove my sports car on cruise night and caught up with some of my old friends. I had dinner with my rather large family, knocked out every single chore on my weekly list in one afternoon, caught up on some of my favorite TV shows, and even got to go out on 2 date nights with my wife. This is my perfect week. How did I have time to do all this? Simple. I've mastered the dexterity of my own mind. In this lesson, we're going to focus on an exercise called the perfect week. I attribute the success of mastering this balancing act we call life to my mind's ability to constantly adapt to new or changing environments. In order to become the perfect day trader, we need to master a very precise equilibrium. There's never an end to the amount of stocks we can look at. Instead, we must train our mind to identify the perfect scenarios, such as do we trade stock A or B? Once that's complete, do we pick C or D as our next one? Or E and F? And so forth. Successfully being able to profitably jump from one stock to the next becomes a test of our mind's dexterity. So how can we train our mind to have this higher form of dexterity? Well, this is actually quite simple. We do it through our perfect week exercise. You see, by designing your perfect week, you'll be training your mind to be accepting of a very dynamic life. We'll be doing a very powerful exercise that defines your entire week and puts you in the driver's seat with accomplishing more of the things you want to do with your time. Before we start, I want you to brace yourselves for an eerie realization that you're going to have in this lesson. We'll come back to this a little later. I want you to now go to your worksheet, and you're going to find a section where it asks you to describe your normal week. Pause the video, complete that section, and come back when you're done. Okay, that wasn't so tough. Quite easy actually, as you already have a pretty good idea of what your normal week looks like. Now, just like how I described my perfect week in the beginning of this video, I want you to also describe your perfect week. I want you to really take some time to think about what your perfect week looks like. Pause this video again and take as much time as you need designing your absolutely perfect week. Use as many details as possible and then come back once you're ready. Welcome back. You should now be looking at two pretty definitive lists with differences between them. This is where that eerie realization is about to kick in. If you were to change just one thing on your normal list, then would you not be one step closer to living your perfect life? You can simply take your first step by selecting the easiest thing on your list and consciously making that change to achieving your goals. Every time you wake up on Monday morning to start a new week, this simply becomes a normal routine. Then you can pick the next easiest thing on your list and apply those changes. This is a great cycle to create, as it always pushes us to become better versions of ourselves. Now, eventually, as you go through weeks and weeks of change, all the easy choices you've made are going to be gone, and you'll be left with only the harder things to change that you've left last on that list. This is where I would say congratulations, because without knowing it, you've simply made small adjustments that will increase your mind's dexterity through the acceptance of change. You've manipulated your life into a better version without even knowing it. This is what dexterity of the mind is: the ability to move through changes at an efficient rate. This is an exercise that you should do every 6 months, as your life and expectancies will always be changing. So should your ability to conquer them and adapt to the wants and needs of your constant evolving life. We can relate this to day trading in a very similar way by adding a weekly change that we identify as part of our old routine with the creation of a new routine. And there you have it, the perfect week. One of the most powerful and effective tools you can put into practice to make immediate changes that will have large impacts on your life and in day trading. When it comes to day trading, you can create what looks to be the perfect week for your day trading career. If the perfect week in day trading were simply to be making more profits then you can start to identify the areas in which you can change. By identifying those areas that you can change, you can simply tackle that list alongside your list in life to have dexterity change and conquer the things you want and need to be changing and evolving.